Good evening, all my guys and ghouls, and welcome to the month of chills and thrills. The month where scaring your closest friends is welcomed with a smile. It's the month we get to watch all those crazy horror flicks that make us go to bed with the lights on for the next 31 whole days. Unlike every cable channel this month. Now, I must admit that I am kind of a horror movie junkie. And I kind of dig the Halloween season. Now, I get that there are those who may say that celebrating Halloween in a church is, well, let's just say, not the place to do it. I believe that if I am coming in and I teach the occult, or something that goes away from the Bible and away from the light, I take you to a dark place, yeah, that's not good, and we shouldn't do that. I like the fun aspect of Halloween. I see the excitement of kids as they pick out costumes to go trick-or-treating. Youth do the same for that costume party, and I know you guys probably go for the candy too. Unless you are not allowed to eat candy anymore, kind of like somebody I know. I just revel in the memory of the parental candy tax I used to put down on my kids and taking their best candy that they would get from trick-or-treating for myself. Yeah, that's 3 Reese's Cups, a couple Tootsie Rolls, and that candy bar, full size. Thank you. Now go on your way. Ah, sweet, sweet memories. Sorry. But honestly, I am one of those weird guys who likes to be scared. Well, I say that. What I mean is I like to do those things that I know is safe, but get to have those jump moments, right? Or even the anticipation of the jump moment. I love it. Like watching a horror movie and going to the haunted forest and walking through it, and it's like, boom! Gotcha. I love it! But every wackadoo like me, there are just as many who hate it. They don't like it. So I asked the question a couple weeks ago in Sunday school. Tell me something you fear. I got the normals. Spiders, snakes, and all those other creepy crawlies and spooky things. But while we were talking, it reminded me of my son when he was very young. His greatest fear was tornadoes. We had a girl a little bit older than him that lived just down the street, and she told him, yeah, tornadoes are bad. They will kill you. Then they will rip off your head and drain all your blood, and then you might never find your head because the tornado will take it. And that's a lot to take in at any age, but try that when you're 5. My son's fear for tornadoes became to the point of what I would call an irrational fear. If he heard thunder or when a really hard rain would come, he would ask, trembling, I mean shaking, Dad, this isn't one of those tornado storms, is it? Now, as a dad, you could see that he was terrified. And I felt helpless because nothing I said could get him to not be scared. I wanted to take his fear away. And I admit, I probably didn't help, as I would go and reassure him and then go walk outside or something like that, stand next to a window and look at the storm. I mean, in a way, I'm not taking the fear of getting sucked away from him while I stood on my deck with my eyes looking out to see where the storm was. Here's the thing. My son, at some point, lost that fear. I'm not exactly sure when it was, but I remember when I noticed, of course, it was during what we call a tornado storm. He was chill the entire time. I'd never seen him do that. So I asked him if he was nervous. He said, "No, Dad, I'm not scared of these storms like that anymore." When I asked him when he stopped being scared of these storms, he said, "Well, I was at church one time and a really bad storm came. The sirens went off and I saw this other younger student and he was really scared. And my son said in that moment, he lost his fear because he went to go and comfort that student." I think in that moment, he put his fear aside to reassure this student. He had to, in that moment, face his fear to tell another person that they were going to be okay. And the other thing I believe, that my son was able to comfort this student way better than I ever could. Because he understood the fear. And he could relate to the student. Where his goofball dad was probably standing outside the church looking to see if there were actually tornadoes coming. Right? Fear is something we all have. And for some, that fear is almost crippling. It causes us to freeze, to flee, or even to lash out. But how can we learn to face it? I think a great story of that shows us how to do this is in the book of Esther. So I want you to look at the slide on the life of Esther. And I love how it shows her life and her fears in a roller coaster. Our life and our fears are a lot like a roller coaster, full of ups and downs, and just when you think it's all good, there's another twist leading up to the super duper double looper, and you hate to be upside down. We see she screams down the first terrifying hill as her parents die. You know, you click, click, click. Oh, this is all good. This is all good. Everything's good. Come up to the top and you hit that peak and you get to look out. And then it's, ah! Parents died, right? Then it's a hard turn into seeing oppression of the Jewish people, of which she is one. Then she gets one of those moments on the coaster where hits a high and you get to just look out as she's taken in by her cousin Mordecai. Then there is a small hill, makes the stomach jump, but not really scary. She sees Queen Vashti, the queen at the time, excommunicated because she would not show up for the king just to be paraded for her beauty. Then there is this climb. It's slow, and you come to the best part of the coaster. Esther is picked by the king to become the next queen. But right after becoming queen, she realizes that she is in a tunnel. She must keep the king in the dark, that she's actually Jewish. Again, the coaster starts to climb as she feels that being queen could be helpful to God's people. Then a giant, gut-wrenching drop, knowing that if she approaches the king about it, she can be killed for it. And we see our diagram kind of stop there. I think that is a great analogy of being kind of stuck in fear. Esther for a bit, refuses to move. But she does seek comfort, and she does seek advice from her cousin Mordecai. Mordecai says this in Esther 4:14. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your families, your father's family, will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Mordecai comforts in a way that gives Esther strength. Not only is she going to face the king, she is going to confront the person who gave a great fear to her and all the Jews, a man named Haman, who got the king to sign a decree that would kill all the Jews. Esther puts a plan in motion in a way to talk to her husband, the king, on this injustice, this fear. It all really culminates in Esther 7, 1 through 6. So if you want to check it out in your Bibles. So, the king and Haman went to Queen Esther's banquet, and as they were drinking wine on the second day, the king asked, Queen Esther, what is your petition? It will be given to you. What is your request? Even if it's up to half the kingdom, it will be granted. Then Queen Esther answered, if I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life. This is my petition. And spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. If we had merely been sold as male and female slaves, I would have kept quiet, because no such distress would justify disturbing the king. King Xerxes asked Queen Esther, who is he? Where is he? The man who has dared to do such a thing? Esther said, an adversary and an enemy, the vile Haman. Then Haman was terrified before the king and queen. This is the end of the roller coaster ride. Queen Esther faces her fear. Well, I would say fears. She told the king, which could have gotten her killed. And she calls out Haman, who was second in command under King Xerxes. If the king had listened to him, he could have had her killed. But Esther lets the king know, and her roller coaster pulls into the station. I imagine the adrenaline is pumping, but she made it through the ride. And she came out better because she had faced her fear. Have you ever conquered something that you feared, and the second you accomplished it, you realized that one, the fear, although real, was more in your head than anything. And two, dude, let's do that again. Now, I'm not sure Esther would want to relive all the things that happened to her over again. What she learned is she can do the ride, and she'll be all good in the end. Queen Esther got encouragement to get on the ride, but that encouragement was for her to put her trust in God. He will see you through all the roller coaster rides in our lives. Joshua 1:9 says this, have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. The Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Here's the thing I want you to notice. It doesn't say in that verse that our ride will be smooth. Expect the super duper double loopers in life. They will be there. Put God first. Face your fears. I want to drop one more passage from the Bible on you. So if you look in your Bible at 2 Corinthians 4, 6 through 12, it says this. For God, who said, let light shine out of darkness, made his light shine in our hearts to give us light of the knowledge of God's glory displayed in the face of Christ. But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. For we who are alive are always being given over to death for Jesus' sake, so that his life may also be revealed in our mortal body. So then death is at work in us, but life is at work in you. This is from Paul to the people of Corinth. And this is a letter of absolute encouragement to the people. But I look at it as so much more. This is my son, losing his fear of the danger of storms that he had faced that night at church, in order to give comfort to someone who needed to know they were going to be all right because they have God. My son Tavin was Paul in that moment. He gave himself to someone else. He faced his fears to help someone over theirs. This is the month we kind of like to sit in the dark and get scared by a movie, and that's cool if you like that sort of thing. If that's you and you are sitting by someone who is not dealing with this fear so well, comfort them. Tell them everything is all right. Everything's going to be cool. Then when the movie is done, tell them how they can overcome their fears by trusting in Jesus to give them strength and comfort to face that fear.